977ESPN.com and the 977 ESPN The Zone app. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 977 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back in the plush new studios, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you, walking you up to Alabama basketball. We spoke to the voice of the Tide, Chris Stewart, yesterday as they were in Austin getting ready to take on the Longhorns. In fact, quite a few games in SEC basketball to tip it up tonight. The Auburn-Vanderbilt game, that's up at the Memorial Gymnasium, tips it up at 6 o'clock on the SEC Network. Also tipping it up at 6 o'clock is Mississippi State and Florida. That's on ESPN2. Also at 6 is Tennessee, Kentucky. That's on ESPN. Later on tonight, Bama, Texas. You can hear it right here. Also tipping at 8 on the SEC Network is Georgia at 8th-ranked Texas A&M. How are you, Wes?
I'm doing good. Who's favored in the Georgia-Texas A&M game?
Who do you think?
Texas A&M.
By 8.
So go over the lines. What's Auburn?
Bama is a 4.5-point road favorite. Kentucky is a home dog. How about that? Tennessee is a 3-point favorite at Rupp, taking on the Kentucky Wildcats.
And they've been folding like a pup tent lately, right?
A little bit, but they they've been a touch healthier, so that's an intriguing game tonight. Auburn's a 9-point road favorite at Vanderbilt. 9 points. And a 1.5 favorite for Mississippi State over Florida. That's 2 ranked teams. Gators are 3rd ranked in the country. Mississippi State 22nd. That's over at the Hump there in Starkville, Mississippi. Well, coming up on the program today, we're going to talk some basketball with Enimo, as Enos Watley, the former Crimson Tide standout, will join us to help break down number 1 versus number 1. I think that was aptly put yesterday by Chris Stewart, with the fact that you have the two major polls have Auburn 1 and Alabama 1 heading into a big Saturday. But both of them have to hold serve tonight for this to keep that juice going tonight.
There's going to be juice whether they both lose or not. I mean, this is, yeah. So, Florida's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
How many losses they have? 2?
I thought it was 3. It is 3. 20-3. They're 20-3.
They lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, Florida's.
But Florida's,
I kind of gravitate towards Florida because they're so much fun to watch. They have good guard play, good bigs. They're the kind of team that can win it all or get beat in the first round. I mean, because they play. Like they got beat by 25 or 30 by Tennessee. That's right. It was a home game, but they turned around and did the same thing
back to them. I know that, but I'm just saying to me, I've watched them, and at times they're when the guards are shooting, and because they got 2 guys over 7 foot.
Yeah,
I mean that's why were able to beat Auburn. Their guards were shooting very well, and they're not. Those other guys are used to being the biggest, baddest guys, and they weren't in that game anyway.
Shout out to the UAH Chargers. The latest rankings came out today. The men stay put at number 4 in the country after now what is a 22-game winning streak for first-year head coach Mick Hedgesmith. And something else that we all notice is the rain coming down. We hope everyone is out there staying safe. If you can, I always preach to my wife and my kids, and if you leave more room than you think you need in front of you, just in case something happens. Just takes one knucklehead to have a bad night.
And this is coming from Speedy Steve Moulton.
Well, come on, say it right. Say it right. I'm Tokyo Drift, according to Drew DeArmond. But I mean, if we really want to talk about Goggles Paisano in the building here, I mean, I'm not the one pulling tickets. So, but I digress. Of course, the rain is ever flowing, and I mean, I immediately saw something, and the guy to my left, I said, "Hey, I'm going to need some help here because I'm noticing a spot in one of my daughter's bedrooms." And so, I mean, Fleming Roofing and Restoration is right here for us.
How's it going?
Good, good. How you doing?
Good.
Sneak on up to that mic.
It's not going to
Don't be gentle.
So you finally got something. You got a little problem in the house, huh?
Hey, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll text you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll get that hammered out and figured out.
Yeah.
But how are things?
Oh, they're good. Same as always. Just it seems like we've got quite the load of rain heading this week. I think tomorrow's supposed to be 4 to 5 inches or something, and I think this weekend they're calling for severe weather. So it's definitely that time of year when everything starts kicking up. So.
And I mean, what I noticed, people need to take a look around their house.
Yeah.
Every home or every room in their house. And
Yeah. Just look up, see if there's anything dripping, see if anything's stained. But if your roof survives this week,
You're
might
good to
be
go,
okay.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, Sam, when you go into a house, I mean, are the stains with the first sign of you got maybe the beginning of a problem?
Typically, yeah. I mean, that's it could technically leak and not show up on your ceiling. I mean, sometimes on the chimney it might just run down the wall. Depends on what you've got on the wall. I mean, obviously 99% of everything we have down here is, drywall ceilings, drywall walls. So it will show up. Sometimes it takes a little bit to show up. It might get your insulation wet and then, kind of bleed through and eventually you get a stain. But yeah, the stain is the first tip off. Unless you're just perusing around your attic for fun, during the rain.
You never know.
Yeah, attics in Alabama, even in December, I just don't go up there.
No question.
Yeah. It's like I have to.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Yeah. Me and jumping across the rafters,
Yeah.
we don't mix.
Well, that's where my wife likes to hide everything too. So I mean, you got to dodge all the,
Oh, really?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get aggravated. Start bumping your head on rafters and things.
Oh yeah, getting heckled on the other side of the glass here.
Yeah. I brought 2 fans with me here today. So.
Well, I mean, this is our first guest of the new studio as well.
I love it, man. I love the new studio. I mean, the old one was nice too. But this is
Yeah, that was the upper basement.
Well, we're not too far down the road. We're like kind of neighbors.
I know it.
Yeah.
You need to come by more often.
Well, yeah. Then I'm gonna end up eating at Dunkin' and Five Guys, and yeah.
Well, we were at Five Guys yesterday. Oh no, we were at Full Moon Barbecue yesterday.
I love Full Moon.
Yeah, Full Moon right up the road here is fantastic.
I'll probably be hitting them a lot. Their fish is really good.
Yeah, the catfish.
Yeah, so
Catfish is really good there.
Haven't had the
Lent's
catfish.
coming up. Was good.
He goes brisket. He always goes brisket.
My wife made me a Catholic too, so now I'm into those fish Fridays during Lent. The things we do for love.
I thought that went away.
Don't ask me for an explanation. I just do as I'm told most of the time.
There you go.
So, Sam, how big of a basketball fan are you?
I love it, man. Especially, the SEC is so good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they talking about? 12 teams in the tournament, possibly?
Right at 13 right now.
Yeah, no, 3 of the top 4 number 1 seeds?
Mm-hmm.
My only apprehension is we're going to get all these really good rankings. You're going to talk about how great we are, and we're going to no-show the tournament like we always do. With the exception of 1 or 2.
I don't need that kind of energy.
I don't want. I'm just.
But you know what? You're kind of spot on. I
think a lot of other conferences are down, and I think the SEC is really kind of. Calipari, even in Arkansas, he had 2 guys on the roster.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah,
they're good. So Kentucky's showing signs of improvement.
Certainly has under a new administration there.
Yeah, I tried to get the Bama Auburn tickets to the basketball game.
How'd that go for you?
Well, this is like 4 weeks ago. They were still at like $400 a pop in nosebleeds. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch that one on TV.
And this is the bigger of the 2 venues at Coleman. So this would be, But so Wes always has a formula. But I mean, I always tell him when he tells us all his formula, we're not Wes neighbors. I mean,
No.
but there is some truth in the formula. There is some truth in the formula. Go ahead, Wes.
Well, I mean, I've never gone anywhere where I could get a ticket.
Yeah.
And it was cheaper than what it was advertised.
Just go to the venue.
Yeah.
You may miss tip off.
Yeah.
Right.
But
the key is to have a little kid with you.
Yeah.
well,
I mean, always on your hand. So you be perfect. You get Coco out there.
Yeah.
Take her to the game. You're getting tickets. 100%.
Use whatever weapon you got.
Yes, and normally, it has happened where the big game, you got the little kid, somebody will come in, their partner didn't show up, somebody didn't show up for whatever reason, they'll just give them to you.
Is that kind of like in college having a puppy trying to find a girlfriend?
But it works
Oh,
every
wow.
time. You didn't have a puppy?
No.
Yeah, I'd get a new puppy every year. You talking about?
Yeah.
It's even better if it's a little baby, like 9 or. Well, really, you want them to be able to walk,
Yeah. Yeah.
and talk just a little bit. Yeah, that's
so I just pulled it up from
fishing with
SeatGeek.
dynamite.
The cheapest to get in right now, $271 for SeatGeek. But this
Yes.
is not. It always kind of balloons. I would imagine peak prices are probably going to be like Thursday, especially if both Auburn and Alabama win tonight.
Yeah.
But it always goes down right before game time.
Always. And usually if you go to it used to be easier when it was a paper ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, now
Digital.
they have the digital and they can sell it right. But still,
Yeah, you're sweating that phone battery at that point.
yeah, but you better go with a charged battery and have an extra. That's always, you're right. I hate, when you start watching your phone, it gets to 15% and you got to get in the stadium. It's not fun.
Yeah. We went to the Final Four last year, and that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, we lost the game. I mean, we never really expected to win, but it was. I mean, it was awesome.
Well, this year it's in San Antonio, and I've already told Wes if both Auburn and Alabama end up in the Final Four, we are going to San Antonio, Texas.
I will be there if that happens
Yep.
for sure.
We'll be looking for tickets.
Hey, the wife has family down there. I can get everybody a place to stay.
Hey. There you go.
I heard according to Charles Barkley, you just bring a bunch of tacos and they'll be good.
Yeah, him and San Antonio women really don't get along too well with Sir Charles. But speaking of homes, this is a good time for you to survey what's going on in your home. If you see any signs of stains, give Sam a call over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration at 256-651-9440. Or better yet, if you're in the middle of driving right now and you can't write that down, it's FlemingHSV.com. I can't thank you enough for that.
They show up.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That's right. Well, the rain has shown up in a big, big way. And let's go ahead and take our first time out. Open it up to your phone calls on the other side. Just getting things started. Ooh, squeeze on by over there, right? Mercy.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community.
The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here on The Drive, West Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. If you'd like to be a part of the program, you can call in at 256-576-4977, the telephone number, 256-576-4977, the telephone number. There was a little bit of football news from overnight as DJ Durkin, the Auburn DC, he is going to earn $2.5 million this year to be the defensive coordinator at Auburn University.
That's a lot of money. Wow.
Isn't it?
For DC. Wow. They believing in them DJ Durkin.
I believe so.
I mean, he must have had another offer. That's why they just don't get a raise like that just to get it. He was going somewhere else.
Because honestly, if you take a look at the numbers from Ron Roberts in the previous year, touchdown-wise and total yardage-wise, it was about the same.
Yeah. I mean, how did he get him? I know he's a good coach.
Yeah.
I think that Auburn's defensive line got better as the year went around. 15 was a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
But the secondary just was not elite. And to win in the Southeastern Conference, it has to be elite. I mean, you have to have elite players back there. You have to have guys that are going to go in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, and at least 2 or 3 of them. And when you don't have that, it's hard to win in the Southeastern Conference. Because to stop the run, you have to put first of all, I think DJ Durkin does a good job of creating havoc and bringing people and doing things. But if you can't cover anybody, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they can throw it quickly. When they have to hold the balls when you got them. So, there's a fine line between being really good and being great. But there's no doubt DJ Durkins is a really good football coach.
Jordy Arman is telling me and you, that was that beep right there that you heard. Ohio State was coming after DJ
There you
Durkin.
go. Yeah, he got a.
Yeah. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but
I mean,
it had to be somebody big.
It really did.
Yeah.
Because Knowles, of course, left. So
if DJ Durkin left Auburn, it would leave a huge hole. Because to me, he did he did magic last year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year they'll have better players. They're going to continue to get better players. But it would be a death knell for the head coach if he'd have left.
But which stat do you like to look at better? Is it total defense or is it scoring defense?
It's wins and losses.
Well, but I know there's one.
Well, so yeah,
stat is it scoring defense that you look at before total defense?
No, I think it's just how you play it. Because listen, if your offense has to play well for your defense. If the defense is giving up 40 points a game, but the
total defense,
but hold on, let me
31st.
finish this. Yeah, but if your defense is giving up 40 points a game, but they're getting the ball at the 25-yard line,
I get that.
And so the other thing is, if your offense can only scores 10 points, well, hell, the other team gets 14, and what are they going to do? They're not going to take chances. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the defense you just kind of got to watch them and see when they have the lead in the fourth quarter, do they stop people?
Total defense. This is total defense, not scoring defense. The top SEC team, total defense. Who do you think?
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh. Tennessee, wasn't it?
Tennessee was second. They ended up sixth overall, but second in conference play behind Texas.
Yeah, I thought
the Longhorns were third nationally behind Ohio State and Indiana.
Right.
Because the SEC is not a football conference anymore.
Because Indiana didn't play anybody. Ohio State, they
gave up 254 yards a game.
Right.
And other defenses, Tennessee, I said sixth. Ole Miss 14th. South Carolina finishes 16th. Then Missouri 17. Oklahoma 19. Again, this is total defense, not scoring defense. And Alabama comes in at 21 behind Iowa and just ahead of Sam Houston State, or I think they just call them Sam Houston now. Georgia is 30, and Auburn, as I mentioned, 31. So, I mean, it's great to have a 31st ranked defense.
I think DJ Durkin's a hell of a
but with that amount of SEC teams in front of you.
Well, I mean look, who had the players? Texas had the best roster in the SEC.
That did.
Last year.
Certainly the most expensive from what we can gather.
Right. And you look at, if to me, they need a shot caller on Sark when they get to the 1 yard line to run the ball. Just run it 4 times. I don't know.
True. Yeah.
Run the what happened to tush push? It's legal. Why don't more people run it?
I
can't explain it.
I don't know.
All these guys stand straight up on the goal line. The offensive linemen, why? They're getting knocked back. There's no way you're going to score. You got to come off the ball like they do at Philadelphia. And half the teams don't run. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, LSU was running the tush push basically.
Yeah.
Go back and look when Connor was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They ran that same formation.
Yeah. In tight and just veer it right up your gut.
Exactly. So, but you asked me a question, and I kind of want to go back to so you asked me which is better.
Yeah.
Scoring defense
or total?
Total defense. Yeah. In the old days, I would have said total defense.
Because it encompasses.
Because total defense was, hey, if you're if you're stopping them, it'll take care of itself eventually. But now with all these people going down going forward on fourth down all over the field and doing all that, and so you talk to any defensive coach now, it's all about turnovers. If you get turnovers, you win the game. And getting stops and getting turnovers. Get it off the field on third down and getting turnovers. We got it because the rules are so in favor of the offense. That's the most important thing. They don't care about yards anymore. It's all about getting a third down stops and getting turnovers. And if you can do that, you'll win the game. And you go back and look at the Alabama losses this year, It was because of the turnovers. And that's why it's so important. It's always been about turnovers, but it's even more important now because the rules favor the offense so much.
Yeah. In terms of allowing touchdowns this year, tops in the country was Ole Miss. Gave up 21 touchdowns through 13 games. Nobody else was near 21.
I'm going to say this.
Next highest was 24.
If Ole Miss would kick field goals, they'd have won every regular season game. Now, I don't think, as good as they think that quarterback was, I watched him. He was very inconsistent. So I know they loved him and everybody loves him, but
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, but I think, you know, I don't think they could have won a national championship with them. That's my feeling. I'd like to them prove me wrong, but defensively, they had a team. You look at the games they lost. They kept the teams to 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. On all those, and you go back and look at those 3 games they lost, they had the ball on 2 of them. I know the Florida and LSU in the red zone 5 times and came away with both those games with no points. And they just kicked their field goals. And now they missed the field goal against Kentucky to tie it at the end, but they turned the ball over on offense, and Kentucky made some incredible plays from
So again,
Ole Miss caused a fumble and the tight end caught it in a touchdown.
Ole Miss gives up 21 touchdowns this past season, and Alabama gives up 25 touchdowns this past season. Tennessee, 26 touchdowns. South Carolina gave up 28 touchdowns. Georgia, 29 touchdowns. Auburn gave up 31 touchdowns on the year, and Missouri, 32. Kentucky, also 32 touchdowns, Oklahoma 33. But I mean, I really bought into Ole Miss a good bit, and at least statistically, defensively, they proved out to be a better than average defense. A heck of a.
They had some great players. Now they had some good players, and you know, I know Drew doesn't have a lot of respect for the coordinator, but he's a good coach. He's a really good coach. And the secondary coach is pretty good too.
Yeah, he also doesn't really care for the defensive line coach currently at Alabama right now as well.
Yeah, he's a good coach too, though. I mean, to me, if anything, what's happened with Alabama and Georgia and everywhere else,
the
defensive linemen, they're all getting premiums.
Yeah,
you know, they're not going to get to the NFL anymore. They're going to the highest bidder. And that's just the way it is. So you got to somehow adjust to that. What Ole Miss has done a great job of is going in the transfer portal and getting enough players around them. But, you know, Ole Miss lost a safety last week because Oregon allegedly outbid them by a little, by a double.
Yeah. That Nike swoosh.
Yes. So, I mean, that's a problem for everybody now.
Yeah.
It's not just Alabama. It's not, and it's these teams with the most biggest paycheck.
And that leads into something that Matt Rule floated, and I thought it was interesting, of him floating the idea of no spring game, of his argument was, what is the point of putting players on a display right before the portal opens, where people can just go, I want X and I'll pay you Y.
What does that do really? I mean, that doesn't do anything in my mind. They're still going to go after players.
Yeah.
They can look at the film.
But you're not shining a spotlight on your players on a spring game.
Yeah, but
I mean, Lane Kiffin, remember last year's spring game turned it into like an NFL Pro Bowl type of thing.
But that's not the reason he was doing it.
Well, because he likes offense and he wanted to highlight his offense.
Yeah, well, exactly, because it wouldn't have been good. They couldn't block him. I mean, you know, that's just, you know, they've been anyway. They just need to change the rules where you can have a spring game and then it doesn't matter. The rules need to be changed. And
But then the portal's opening up again in April.
Yeah, I don't think it should.
10
I
days.
think it should open up in April, and that's it. I don't think they ought to have a December.
But not for
portal.
grad transfers. You are for grad transfers
All the way.
anytime.
And to these Oklahoma people, real quick, you ought to be proud of Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
But Jalen Hurts graduated from the University of Alabama.
Did he get a master's degree or something from Oklahoma?
I assume. But his undergrad in all his national championships.
I fully remember.
And Jalen Hurts actually beat Oklahoma. He played in that game.
That year that he stuck around and came in the SEC championship game.
It was unbelievable.
It wasn't
magical.
I mean,
listen, I've always, and you know this because you hear me talk about it all the time. I've always had mad respect for Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Mad respect. And when all these people would call up on our show and say he should play running back, and I'm sure he could have, I was saying, listen, these guys work hard every day. He was a sophomore that year.
Yeah.
A sophomore.
Yeah.
And you look at the people that work hard, keep their nose out, and look at them, and you know, and people I was watching Super Bowl with us, sitting there saying, "Hey, Jalen looks bigger. He is bigger.
Yeah,
they continue to get bigger. That happens for the rest of our life, doesn't it? We continue to get bigger.
That's right.
But I mean, but his is all muscle. He works his butt off.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing doesn't happen by accident. And he's gotten better.
So that year that he stayed, I really
got so much better that year because of Tua.
Yeah, I really wish someone would do a deep dive into how that happened.
Well, I think there's a lot of people
in
want
that
to know
conversation that I'm sure Coach Saban had with Jalen, and then what happened in the SEC championship game, taking over and I mean literally taking over the SEC championship game against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, if he doesn't come in, they don't win that game. No question. He came in and played.
And Drew, since I know you're listening, I was in that stadium. I was cursing your name. I had Carl Prather right next to me. I mean, Carl. Yeah, I'm just telling you. At one point, Carl looks over and he says, "You all right? You okay?" I said, "Looking Trudy Armin."
Yeah,
Trudy Armin. Because that entire year. Anyway, that was I always think that we're not going to see another big time run, but we saw a heck of a little run by Urban Meyer in Florida. But then that run that Nick Saban and Alabama went on, I mean, we've seen a fair bit of football. I know you've seen a little bit more than me, but it's hard to believe, especially with how college football is today, on whether or not that is even remotely attainable.
Well, they said it would never be like that ever again.
I know.
But I mean,
before a long time.
But the SEC had a run like this in the late 50s and the early 60s till 66, and they started stealing championships away from us. I mean, you look at it. They won it. Auburn won at 57. 58 was LSU.
Yeah.
59 was Ole Miss.
57 was Auburn, you said?
Yes, 57 was Auburn. Yeah. I mean, you go and Ole Miss won 2 or 3, Alabama won 2 or 3. They won 60. Alabama won 61, 64, 65, and was undefeated 66.
Wow.
The only undefeated team and didn't get it. So, and in between that, you had Ole Miss winning several. LSU won 1, Auburn won 1, and then it kind of went away after 66, and then came back with Coach Bryant in the 70s. I think, to me, the highest paid team is going to win it 9 out of 10 right now. Especially,
it feels that way.
Yeah, Texas could have beat. Texas had a squad that should have won against Ohio State.
But it was nice to see a story like Arizona State happen, and that was a team that gelled at the right.
Absolutely,
that's a team that gelled at the right time, and they were playing some good football.
They were. There's no question. But, you look at that game. Texas tried to give that a game away. Why are you throwing the ball with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter? Up by 2 scores. It's just, that's just not very smart. So, Stark needs to get a hold of his stuff if he's going to win a championship. I mean, he is so close.
Yeah.
They're close.
But the fact that Georgia beat them twice last year.
Yeah, and beat them dominated the fourth quarter in the Southeastern Conference game with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that in my mind. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee recovers, how if Auburn can get over the hump and become a winning program again.
$2.5 million defensive coordinator.
Well, they spent a lot of money on their players and everything else. It's going to be interesting. I would think that they're on the cusp of going to a bowl game, at least, you would think. If he doesn't, he's not going to be there very long.
You would hope.
Yeah.
You would hope. Well, we are going to dive into a little bit more of number one versus number one. Always fun to talk to Enimo, as Enos Watley is set to join us on the other side of our final timeout here in hour number one. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Enos Watley is on deck. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed. Don't ask anyone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Rain's going to stick with us as we head into the overnight and into Wednesday morning. Allow yourself a couple of extra minutes as you head out the door for work on Wednesday morning. We drop into the mid and upper 40s. Temperature's going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. We're also going to hold on to the rain across the Tennessee Valley. We climb into the upper 50s and lower 60s, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. Rain's going to begin to slow down a little bit as we head into Thursday afternoon. A mostly cloudy sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
But that never worked.
A rainy Tuesday here on the program. Head over to our YouTube page, WZZN TV. Give us a subscribe. Also coming up at the top of the hour, the Havoc Hour. Joe Hunk getting ready to host that at the top of the hour. I'm sure John Abraham. Hard to get my Abraham straight.
They're densely populated. There are a bunch of them.
There's a lot of them. But John usually helps out Joe there on the Havoc Hour as well.
A lot of people listen to that.
And watch it. And there's a lot of interactions with the players. Yeah. So head on over to we were there for the first one. We were over there for the first one over at Zambruski's, but that fires up at the top of the hour over at Zambruski's. We are in the plush new studios right along the Parkway, and it's always fun to talk some basketball. And no better time than right now as we get ready for number one versus number one, as Enos Watley is kind enough to join us. How are you, Enimo?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing down there?
It's fun to talk. We talked basketball much to Wes's chagrin in early December. So, I mean, this is fun to follow. How about from your perspective?
I mean, it's great when you rank. Well, we're ranked at. I think we should be number one in the country. But when you rolling like that, RTR, baby, it's a great thing. I feel good on this end about it.
What do you like most about watching this team right now? What impresses you most?
What's impressed me the most, I think they got a plan. You can see it. I watched them against Georgia. I was home and I got a chance to watch against Georgia. They continue to clean up things, and I'm just hoping that they peak, at the right time. But you can tell that Colo's got them playing well, and there's a couple things they need to clean up, and I truly believe that they got a great shot at it.
So when you kind of see them, we even talked to the announcer yesterday, Chris Stewart,
yeah,
and he says sometimes they look like they get a 12 or 14 point lead, and they coast and get bored,
a little bored out there.
What do you think that is? Do you think they just lose that edge that they have when they shooting quick and start thinking about their shots? I mean, we seem to sometimes go into lulls.
Yeah, I think the maturity at some point in continuity. I never forget hearing Coach talk early this summer, and he was talking about. He said, "Enos, we're gonna play who we need to play in order to get ready." That's why I mentioned about timing and the continuity of coming together. You want to be playing good ball at the right time. But the getting up part, I think they can play with anybody. Every time I watch them play and they have the letdown, that's a good word, boring. But I think just understand the moment and rise it up, because the big games, it seems like to not be a part of. But I think in order to go where I believe that they can go, or what they need to do is coming to play every night, regardless of the competition or the level that they're playing.
So when you watch now, what does it look like compared? I know y'all had some really good teams.
Sure.
When you were there,
Sure.
and of course it was basically you guys in Kentucky and Florida, I think, were the teams that were and Auburn as well. When you look back now, and you look where the SEC now, what is that? I mean, you have to be proud, and especially living in Maryland, pumping that in ACC country, pumping that chest out.
Well, I'm SEC guy anyway, especially Alabama. I always tell them when I do play, and I used to play pickup ball all the time, they like, first thing they know, I'm going to say SEC, all, like you said, pumping your chest out. But I just think I'm very proud because I remember back when we had a heck of a winning streak on the West Coast. We didn't lose on the West Coast. Never get coming into the SEC, man. And when we came into the SEC, I think we may have ran into Auburn and Ole Miss, and just they weren't Ole Miss. It was Ole Miss for them this year, but like I think it may have been Vanderbilt, Auburn, or something like that. And we went on the West Coast and just blew them out. But I see the comparison a lot back when we played, where any given night, man, you can go up to Ole Miss or you can go anywhere. You can clearly see it. Nowhere is safe. There's no hiding place in the SEC. I always say in football, that was a no-brainer. But to see it in basketball, I think is just a testament of where the SEC is right now. And I don't think that it's any place is safe. I think you got to be prepared, and you got to be healthy, and you got to hope everything going your way on that night.
Talking to Enos Watley right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. At least my love affair with college basketball began there in the mid 80s, and really Big East basketball is the St. John's, the Georgetowns, the Villanovas. You could tell how much it meant to that crowd. I'm starting to see the crowds, feeding off of this talent as well, and that to me is the more exciting part of this. Is seeing all these sellouts at Coleman.
Yeah, I think it's a shift, really. And it's good to see because we know what football does. But I think now at this point in the season, see Auburn, Alabama, and you can go down the line to just take your pick. To see that many people, like you mentioned, the Big East Conference, that's my era. Patrick and all those guys, man. All of us come out of '81. A lot of times when I'm speaking about basketball, they're like, well, man, there's no way you old guys would have been able to play, with us. But that's the era that I remember the most, and I'm still biased toward it because I just think that era was some of the greatest basketball, I think, in history, not just because I played in it, but because I just think that it was just on the rise. And to see that going on in the SEC and to see that type of play, that type of parity and everything, I just think it's a testament to the SEC and where it's going.
Well, we spoke with Sam Fleming from Fleming Roofing and Restoration. He's trying to get into the building on Saturday, and tickets to get into the building, the cheapest one, this is on SeatGeek, is $343 for the nosebleeds. I mean, this is bananas, Enimo.
Yeah, to me, like I said, it's a testament to like when you got a good product, people want to come and see it. That's what I remember. That's the fun part I remember about being in school. The excitement, not knowing what to expect. I never forget from my freshman year coming down as a freshman and starting. And from Bobby Lee Hurd to Mike Davis to Eddie Phillips to all those guys, man. And then it wasn't just at Alabama. I'll never forget, that's the crazy part about it. When you mentioned Kentucky and like my first game was against Tennessee, man, it was so much orange going on that I never forget. They was telling me, the guys, man, when you get down to Tennessee, man, you got to have the crowd. I'm like, man, I played in Birmingham. I'm not worried about the crowd. But when I got down there and Tyrone Beeman went to pressure me, I said, oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? That crowd, it started affecting me a little bit. I was like, wow. So my eyes were open quick. But I was like, whoa, I got to be ready for this,
What do you miss most about college basketball? Is it that very fact, what you just explained right there?
Man, that part right there, where I'm from, the SEC, just the conference, man, I love it. I love it. It's great, man. I just think it's a long time coming. Especially, I'm biased toward Alabama, of course, but to see Auburn, to see all of them, I definitely miss it. Just like you said, the swag, the banging on the chest, and we did in the early '80s, and I just want to see that part. I think we're so close, like you said, and man, it'll just be great, just to see it happen. I just keep thinking about the Florida team that. got that breakthrough and they, was able to win. And I believe, Coach is going the right direction, barring injuries, barring just anything else. I think we got as good a chance to do it than anybody else. But I'm definitely excited about the conference itself. Yeah.
Yeah, especially guard play. And I know everything's fueled off of guard play, but when you were playing in the NBA back in the day, at least I had a chance to be around the Atlanta Hawks in the late 90s. It was always amazing to me of how much the guys on the team would keep up with their school. And it turned into like a little, especially like Christian Laettner, who was known for, a temper or two, but he would always just talk Duke junk all over the time. And was it like that when you were in the NBA, where you would keep up with your squad and it would turn into kind of a bonding, if you will, there in the NBA?
Well, they call me country because they say, you from Alabama, you just a little country guy. I always let them know I'm from Birmingham. But Buck Williams, I let them know, guys, when it's like tonight and the other part, I'm like SEC. And basically, we were talking about football at the time. This is what makes it so great, guys. That we talking about basketball now, and that part right there, man. Your alma mater, Dirk Minifield and I, that's how we became like really close friends, man. That we battle at Kentucky, man, and we comment on Facebook and just wherever. It's almost similar like the football teams, when Philly and the Alabama guys won, man. It's like 7 Alabama guys. They're like, well, how you know how many Alabama guys are? I said, because I keep up with it,
Yeah. So I didn't know there was a country part of Birmingham myself.
Hey, tell me about it. They always say, you're from the South. I'm like, that's basically what it's about, going down the Mason-Dixon line there. So I let them know, I said, but don't get fooled by the lingo and different things like that. So they always kind of let me know that I'm from the country. I'm like, I think I figure out that part,
What I'm amazed about, just seeing the evolution of the game a little bit, is how few clumsy big men there are in today's game compared to the 80s, where I guess from growing up and seeing the likes of like Manute Bol, I'm expecting that clumsy big guy, and it's not happening anymore.
It's a shift, like I said. It's a shift, man. A new era. Never in my lifetime I thought I was seeing that you pass the ball out first and then throw it inside, because we had big guys, Eddie Phillips, Lockett, and Bob Lee Hurt. But I just think it's just a different era where the big man mindset now is to start training and conditioning to shoot the 3-pointer, or to handle the ball. It's just amazing how especially with Coach Oak's system and the way he's doing it. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's not just the SEC. If you look around, this is just the way the culture is going. That's why I'm also excited about it. About this era of basketball. I had to give a tribute to that part because I couldn't see it at first, but now after just so many, watching them play, watching Alabama play, watching Coach Oak's strategy and different things like that, I'm buying into it. I still want to see them at time go in for the 2-point goal, but it's definitely a big shift.
I asked Coach Oates about his formula down at the spring meetings. He got about a minute into it, and I said, "Coach, I'm gonna need a PowerPoint presentation. It's a little too complicated for me."
He got me too. I knew he was different when I heard him talking there. They said, "Angel, I'm not trying to go to a Sweet 16. I'm trying to win it." I said, "Okay." I said, "I wouldn't mind having you around when I was around, because to have someone that believe that they can win it, I just think I like that about him. It's different for me. For most fans, I believe it was different, but you cannot deny the product and the fact is that when they own and if things are going right, then I think that it can be special.
You were a part of a couple of championship teams on the professional level. Were you ever a part of a team that had that? You're up by 20 and you lose interest, basically, or just you can tell that the engine is not revving as high. Were you ever a part of a team like that?
the Trailblazer team. Actually, we doing a reunion, to celebrate the '91 team that we
nice.
played against the Bulls in the finals. But the thing about it is that I just think it's it's still a testament to the maturity of you can always say, I think maturity, the right word to use when it come in to where when you understand it, how close it is and this the momentum and how it shifts and the different things like that. When I see it right away, I kind of can tell because I'm just a student of the game. But that part right there, when you see the up and down part, that's normally like when you understand. That's why I like Spears. I'm glad to have him on the team and Pylon. They just got so many. They got so many decent players that if you have some senior leadership or someone around there that's been there before, I think it's better for your team and when it comes down to those pressure moments. That's why with Duke. I'm like saying this guy Cup hadn't seen that type pressure, but it's the level that he seemed to be handling is similar to myself when I came in. Barkley, a lot of other good players that came in, man. It's amazing. And you mentioned the Big East.
Yeah.
It's very rare, man, to get in and a freshman like Moulton or somebody like that come in and start. That just don't happen. That Michael Jordan. I mean, come on. It's incredible.
You got a good Kevin Duckworth story for me, or?
Kevin, we God bless his soul, man.
Yeah.
We having a reunion talk. The crazy part about it, 6 guys on that team are no longer with us, but God bless their soul. But Kevin Duckworth, man, had a pair of the best hands. Bobby Lee Hurt, that's my buddy. Okay. But Will asked me, why do you always throw the ball up anymore? I couldn't throw the fancy pass to Bobby Lee because I hit him in the face. But I always throw the ball up in the air. But I have to tell you, Kevin Duckworth had the best hands for a guy his size. Anything you throw, he was like a big blob. When we throw it into him, he was going to catch it, man. But a real good friend of mine and really good person, man. And we miss him a whole lot,
So when I would go to practice with Bobby Lee, everybody else would be practicing on the right, and they have 2 people throwing the ball to Bobby Lee, trying to get him to catch it.
That's the amazing part about Will. He said, anymore? What made you know that Bobby Lee? I found out something about Bobby Lee, and that's my guy, man, because he's one of the most athletic, high jumping guys. I love him, when we play with it. But I came down and practiced the first couple times, coming from Birmingham and dribbling, hit it real quick, and it hit him in the chest the first time. The second time. And then I said, oh, my God, I said that he has to see the ball first when you throw it up in the air. And I guarantee you watch all our games. If he ever see the ball when it goes up, he's good. But if you throw anything below his waist and his eyelid, and you can forget about it, okay?
Yeah. He looked like he was trying to recover a fumble or something. They were working on it, That's all they did. The when I'd go to the practice, half the practice he'd be over there by himself. And who was the coach that went to New Orleans?
Was it Benny D?
Benny D's be over there working with him.
Yeah. Because I mean, I tell you one thing: if he ever, he's one of the most athletic guys, man, that I've seen. Everything. But he put them hands together, man. Once he catches, it's over with. But that's amazing how I kind of became good friends because I knew that about him, and everything I do. I remember in the UCLA game, we threw the ball out 3 times, and they like, why is he throwing the ball so high like that? I throw it up real high to him, make him go get it. And they throw it back. I throw it up real high to him, make him go get it. And that's what I figured out about Bobby Lee. Put it above his eyes, and he'll catch it. But anything below his eyes, it was a little different for him,
Well, we're going to get you back on. There's no doubt about it.
We're going to get you back on with Bobby Lee. Last time we had Bobby Lee on,
goodness.
He came to Baumhauer's and ate 3 meals.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Nobody like him. I tried it. It was his birthday, I think, a little while ago, and I just wish to happy birthday, man. It's his mom, my mom. We all came down, man. It's just a match made in heaven, with my skill set and how good it was. But I would love it, man. Great guy. That's my guy, BL.
Thank you so much. That is
Enimo,
Enos Watley, kind enough to join us to help.
He's one of the most fun guys to watch play basketball was Enos Watley.
Yeah. And I'm telling you that Trailblazer team, I just looked up that roster, and I mean, I immediately go Kevin Duckworth because he was such a presence. But of course, Drexler was a
He's
staple.
kind of good.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Pretty good. Danny Ainge was on that team too. I'd forgotten that he spent a minute out there in Portland. But anyway, that is Enos Watley. Sports Center timeout.
We got to get Bobby Lee and Hoss on and call Emo, right?
I'm for that.
He's got to lock you. Make sure he doesn't get your battery.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center. I'm Nick DeLuca. Only 4 games on the NBA schedule tonight. The first about to tip off in Philly. Sixers hosting the Raptors. Philly looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Raptors have lost 4 in a row. Sixers minus 10.5 on ESPN Bet tonight. Before the game, Toronto locking in Brandon Ingram, all-star forward, signing a 3-year, $120 million extension with a player option for 2027-28. Toronto acquired Ingram in a trade last week. Avoids the open market for the summer. One of 6 NBA players to average 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in each of the past 4 seasons. He will not play tonight. In the NFL, Saints making it official, hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. New Orleans with some decisions to make moving forward, but ESPN NFL analyst Andrew Hawkins is optimistic about the hire.
Patience is the key, because when you looked at even him being considered for this job, the vacancy was open so long that it felt like the Saints were kind of backing into it. But he's earned it. Absolutely. He's the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl winning team. And the job that he's done with Philadelphia should be applauded. To your point, he's got a lot more questions than answers, but I do think the Saints fans should be excited.
Hawkins on SportsCenter. Saints have missed the playoffs in 4 straight seasons. In baseball, Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers have agreed on a new 1-year contract. 3-time Cy Young winner will be back for his 18th season, turning 37 in March.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, the Eagles won the Super Bowl and the Commanders made the playoffs. So just how far is Dallas away from competing in the NFC East? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll, and I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
That was really cool to talk to Enos Watley as helping you prep for number 1 versus number 1 coming up on Saturday. But both teams honestly need to take care of some business tonight. The Auburn-Vanderbilt game is about to tip it up, and there's quite a few other games going on tonight. And SEC basketball, it's, how's this game not on ESPN? It's on ESPN2, Florida and Mississippi State. Mississippi State, a 1.5-point favorite over the Gators.
Wow.
Yeah. And on ESPN, we're about to be we've got a couple of televisions here in the Palatial News Studios, and Kentucky is a 3-point home dog to Tennessee, and that'll lead into Alabama, Texas, also on ESPN, but you can hear it right here. So chances are this is going to happen. All right. I'm just warning you right now. We always see it during football season, but I can guarantee you that tip-off of this game for Alabama-Texas is going to get pushed because of how late the Tennessee-Kentucky game is going, because it's already 4 minutes after, and they have not tipped off the game. In fact, they just flipped over to Rupp Arena as I'm speaking to you right now. So just plan accordingly. It's going to be a late night with Chris Stewart as well as Brian Pasick and the like there. And Tom Steit will give you those updates periodically throughout the broadcast as well.
You know, we're not done with hockey either. Joe Hunk is on right now.
That's right. Right now.
He's got the Havoc Zone. He's down at Zambruski's Tavern.
Come on now.
For me to say. Yes, I speak for a living over at the Huntsville Ice Sports Arena. And drop by and say hi. He's got, looks like he's got some good guests lined up. He's going to have he and John are going to have a nice time over there. So stop by Zambruski's or just open up WZZN TV, because I already know you're subscribed, and watch the Havoc Zone.
There was a couple of Charger fans telling me about, we have an app? Yes, we have an app. There is an app. All you need to do is head over to your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device. I have a Samsung, so I have a Google Marketplace. If you have an Apple phone,
I can say, hey, Siri, find me the 97.7 ESPN app.
So there you go. And there
goes my phone.
A crew here tonight for the Tennessee-Kentucky game. Really interested to see how this shapes up between the Vols and the Wildcats here tonight, as Tennessee 20-4 on the season, Kentucky 16-7. But these are two tournament teams and two top 25 teams. Likewise was Florida and Mississippi State. Florida is third in the country. Mississippi State is 22nd. Of course, Auburn top ranked in the country according to one poll. Bama top ranked in the other poll. But Alabama in action taking on the Texas Longhorns. And then later on tonight, it's Texas A&M and Georgia. So there is a lot to get into tonight. If once you get kind of mid-February, that's this is when especially the hardcore guys that really get into it. Like Seth Davis has already told me, hey, I'm about to go into the bunker and get ready for March Madness, because it's a lot to sift through. And it really is for college basketball. Already an early steal and score for Kentucky as they lead it 2-0 right out of the gate over the Tennessee Volunteers. Phone line's open to you at 256-576-4977, the telephone number. I would like to know from our audience out there, and would like to hear from our audience, has at least the elevation of college basketball made you watch more college basketball? Yes or no? 256-576-4977. I'm excluding myself because I'm a hoop head, always have been, always will be. One of the lines that my wife loves to say is, the longest 30 minutes of my life is the last 2 minutes of a basketball game. But especially now with these video reviews, the video reviews, they've tightened them down a bit, Wes, but it really, it doesn't add a whole lot to the game because it adds more timeouts.
Well, I like it when they go back, to be honest with you, and get it right. I know that against Mississippi State, they checked and called a goaltending, and then they looked later and it wasn't a goaltending.
Hey, but they do it during a media timeout, which that's the part I love.
I love that.
But it's the last 2 minutes or overtime when a coach can call for a review.
Yeah, but they've lasted forever before that. I mean, last 5 minutes of the basketball game is all that matters anyway. I mean, my dad used to go to sleep.
Billy time.
Yep.
Big Billy time.
He said, wake me up with 5 minutes left. It doesn't matter to then anyway. And he's almost right, because I've seen teams just play horrible the whole game in the last 5 minutes, come back and win. Almost happened against Alabama. In Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right.
Very close.
Yeah.
So,
that was a 20-point lead that evaporated.
Yeah, and Arkansas has been making runs on people like that in their last few.
Alabama's scoring offense is number one in the country, as they're averaging 90 points a game. Gonzaga is second. Kentucky is third. Auburn, by the way, is eighth nationally. Eighth.
Yeah, but they're have the
nationally.
best defense, don't they? I mean,
scoring defense right now, Houston is this is point total wise. Houston is number one. Tennessee is actually third in the country in scoring defense in college basketball. Where is Auburn? Where do you would think Auburn would be kind of high up there because Auburn's defense is so much fun to watch.
They actually really are. I mean, to see them when they get ready to shut somebody down.
But number 10 just drives me bananas. He really does. Chad Baker Mazzara.
Yeah. He's got a lot of junk in his game. Yeah.
And a lot of junk in his mouth too.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't Auburn,
he has a reputation already with the refs.
There is no doubt about
and they
that.
picking on him now a little bit because of and he's not getting, and he has some antics, but when he wants to be, he's a great basketball player. He doesn't need to do all that stuff, is my whole point.
Auburn's scoring defense, this surprises me, ranked 67th nationally, as they are averaging giving up 67.7 points a game. Is the Auburn basketball team, and
it has to be pretty tight though, right?
Oh yeah, it is,
because you're 66 and you're giving up 66 points a game.
The tops in the country, I mentioned Houston, and giving up 57. So I mean,
I remember when Anthony Grant was coach, we
the
were
old
really good on
wiper offense.
Yeah, we were really good on defense, but we couldn't score for anything. It's like watching paint dry. I'd go to those games and I was like, what are we doing?
256-576-4977, the telephone number. And by the way, while I've got a second, don't forget UAH Charger basketball back over the airwaves on Thursday. This is the final regular season home week for the UAH Charger men's and women's basketball team. Now, the men have secured a home game on Super Tuesday. I believe that is on March the 4th. And it is homecoming week over there with the Chargers as UAH takes on CBU, Christian Brothers on Thursday, then Union on Saturday. By the way, the Union games, now that Talk Radio WZZN is up and running, we will have UAH Charger basketball for you front and center over on Talk Radio WZZN. And on the subject of Talk Radio WZZN, later on tonight, UConn, the two-time defending champs, are at Creighton. That game can be found over on Talk Radio. WZZN is where your home of March Madness right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, plus which the SEC men's basketball tournament cranks up on March the 12th, rolls into Selection Sunday on the 16th. So we're roughly a month away from tournament basketball taking over. Bubba is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Bubba?
Hey, guys, what's going on, man? Just driving home from the Arsenal in this rain, and heard you guys want to talk a little bit about college basketball, maybe even some high school basketball.
I'm in. What you got for me, Bubba?
Well, first thing I want to mention is the Priceville girls, the Bulldogs. We played Thursday at Wallace.
Okay.
And going up against, I believe they're the number 1 5A girls team, Scottsboro. So that's going to be quite the matchup. But we're looking to present well and play well, and hopefully come out with a W there.
I love. So is that Jack State or is that Hansville?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Hansville, right?
Okay.
Right.
Both venues are so good, but that is, I see it here in front of me. That's a high noon tip there between Priceville and Scottsboro.
Yeah, absolutely. So curious, do you guys know if Decatur Heritage, did the girls come out on top today?
I will look that up. I don't know that right off the top of my head, but there is a lot of really good programs. Tell me a little bit more about this Priceville girls team. I haven't heard too much about them, quite frankly. What kind of team are they?
Well, real solid. I mean, they've played good all year. They played a really tough schedule. So, a lot of games we played, I think I counted 5 or 6 6A teams that we played. We're 5A now, so we kind of, challenged ourselves. I believe Coach Childress, he came in first year from Clements and has done a really good job. But we've got some good guards, man. We've got a little bit of lane presence, few shooters. So, when we get hot, we can play well. But they definitely challenged themselves this year with a tough schedule, a lot of 6A teams. I think we played a few 7A teams. So, we're going to see how it goes against these 5A squads.
Had a chance to call the game between Hazel Green and some girl named Ace Austin down in the Piedmont area down there. She's special.
Right.
She is very special. And
I heard she put up, was it like 43 or 45 that game, I believe?
I think it was 43. Yeah. And people were excited the fact that she played all 4 quarters. By the way, you were looking for that update. That game just tipped between Belgreen and Decatur Heritage Christian. It was set for 6:00. So I don't have a score in front of me, but at least according to the AHSAA, that game was slated to tip at 6:00.
All right, good deal. You mentioned the Spring Garden, I believe.
That's right. It is Spring Garden.
Yep. They won today, I believe I saw, and they're going to go up against Eider. And I believe I remember Eider. I think they're the defending 2A state champions. They've gone down to 1A, I believe. So I believe they're going to go head-to-head in the next round. That should be next week.
That's right. And by the way, Eider ekes past Appalachian today, 68-29, and Spring Garden just cruises past Winterboro, 54-34. So I imagine Ace probably didn't play the fourth quarter of that game either.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, while I still got you, I want you guys threw out the question about college basketball and just the interest, that's kind of been stirred lately, especially with Alabama and Auburn obviously being ranked in the top 10 all year. But I think for me, I think it's just the fact that I'm an Alabama fan, but I think just the fact that they're so prevalent now on a national scene. And so I think that's kind of what entices me to see what Nate Oates has done and how, Alabama is a place that guys want to come play from all over the country. So I wouldn't, they're obviously not a blue blood, but I call them a new blood.
Yeah.
And so they're just, they're one of the best teams in the country and guys want to come play here. So that's interesting to me.
Well, what Alabama, especially Bubba, what they did earlier in the year, going into the Dean Dome and just undressing North Carolina. I mean, that game wasn't close halfway through the first half. And to me, that was a big statement game of where Alabama is and where North Carolina is.
Well, the whole SEC did to the ACC.
Yeah, the challenge. I think they won three games.
Yeah, and the fact of the look on the faces of the people in North Carolina were total shock.
Yeah.
They looked like they saw it.
They were cheering when they got within 15 in the second half.
Yes,
against Alabama.
Yeah. I want to pose this question to you guys, and me and my buddies have been talking about this, but, the roster's obviously changed a little bit from last year, but for the most part, though, they've got some of the main solid players are still there with Sears and Stevenson and those guys. But what do you think the difference is in this team this year versus last year? And you're talking about a Final Four team.
Yeah. Well, that confidence, I see a very confident group where it's I know there was I still don't know exactly what happened with Mark Sears during that I'll say lost time, maybe his Aaron Rodgers time. I don't even know if that part is completely accurate, but his lost time, I'll say. But focusing back in, and you can definitely tell that this is a very mature team, and a very mature guard-driven team is a scary team.
Right. Absolutely. No, good point. And I think one thing me and my buddies have noticed is this team, last year they might, when they get in a close game, they might have given up the lead per se. But this team just seems to, when they get a lead, if they're up 7, 8, 9 points, it might get down like in the Arkansas game to 4 or 5, but they never seem to relinquish the lead. They always make that important basket when it really needs to go in.
Yeah.
Somebody steps up. So, anyways, hey, good talking to you guys. Roll Tide, and I'll let somebody else jump on.
Thank you,
for letting me
Bubba.
on.
Appreciate the phone call. I'm glad you went there with high school basketball, because this is, I mean, if you're playing basketball on the high school level right now across the state, that you've had a special season. Not just on the 7A level, because 7A has already dwindled down to the Sweet 16, but Mae Jemison's boys taking on Pinson Valley. That comes up on the 13th, so that's just a couple of days away, as Mae Jemison down Muscle Shoals in their previous game, 71-53. Hazel Green takes on Clay Chalkville. Some other schedules out there. I'm trying to see some other. Of course, there is a tiny little matchup that everyone seems to be circling in 7A, because this is not going to happen in Birmingham. This is going to happen in Jack State, potentially, if things pan out. So President's Day is next Monday, the 17th. Huntsville takes on Vestavia Hills. And the winner of that game takes on the winner of Hoover and Albertville. That's earlier in the day at 4:30. So if you're mapping things out and are just interested in a Huntsville-Hoover matchup, that would occur a week from Thursday. That's February 20th at 10:45 in the morning.
Why so early?
I mean, it's the way things are mapped out at Jacksonville State. It would be Thursday morning at 10:45 at the Pete there at Jack State. So plan accordingly, because there might be a few folks in that gymnasium. I hope we're a part of the broad process, but it's been fun. Bottom line, it's been fun to follow the Huntsville High boys and girls basketball team, as they've been kind enough to allow me to come in and broadcast a few games for them here and there. But especially on the guys level, where every one of their starters are playing at the next level. And I trust me, I have already told Eli Stapler, the point guard who's going to Lee University, he's not allowed to have a big game against the UH Chargers. But he probably is.
I hope he does.
Yeah, he probably is. Bubba Smith knows his stuff there in Cleveland, Tennessee. So there's that as well out there likewise. 256-576-4977, the telephone number if you'd like to participate. I told you about 6A, 7A. On the 5A level, let's see what's going on there. Gunnersville is taking on East Limestone. That's coming up on February the 13th. This is on the boys' side. And that is probably the two most regional schools within our stick listening. Brewer takes on Arab. That's early on the 13th, on Thursday morning at 10:30 there. And this is always the fun time of year to follow high school sports and find out, because this is the time of year when you start to hear whispers about, hey, did you see such and such kid at this middle school, and starting to climb up in the ranks, and it's really fun to follow. Final 30 minutes belong to you out there at 256-576-4977. It's a tight one in Rupp, as Kentucky leads it over Tennessee 11-9, Jeff. 11-9 for Jeff from the Burroughs Kentucky Wildcats. I'm sure he's front and center grumbling away.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
AL certain number 21014.
Are you trying to keep your house hot and steamy this Valentine's Day? Talent Heating and Air has just the moves to make it happen.
That's right. We'll turn that raw gas into heat in your house.
So don't let that love of your life be left out in the cold this Valentine's Day. Keep it warm with Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, the love line is open.
256-503-4490.
And on the World Wide Web.
That's talenthvac.com. No ID required.
That's Talent Heating and Air, keeping your Valentine's extra warm with love, courtesy of Talent Heating and Air.
Oh, yeah.
We are your home for March Madness. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I am living on channel.
Now, this is the B-52s, right?
That's right.
All right. I've been to 2 of their concerts, so I remember at least that intro.
Well, see, this is a segue.
Yeah.
Right now on
Yeah.
WZZN TV, not only can you watch and listen to The Drive, we also have the Havoc Hour with
That's
Joe
right.
Hunt.
That's
They're over
right.
at Sam Brewski's Tavern at the Huntsville Ice Sports Company. Yes, I speak really. Boy, I'm
You all
you've
right
got it
tonight?
both times.
You all right?
You smell cut grass. Anyway, no, WZZN TV is a great place. We put up a lot of stuff all throughout the day,
right.
not just our live shows. You see interviews of coaches and players, and there's content all day long. and WZZM TV on YouTube. Might as well go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss anything.
Following a lot of SEC basketball going on right now, but we have been also dissecting a little bit of the Super Bowl. We did that yesterday. Jalen Hurts had this to say.
Wondering, does this validate all of the battles, all of the struggles that you've gone through your life in college and through the pros? Does this validate it for the world, or does it validate it for yourself?
What's the quote? I had a purpose before anybody had an opinion. You know, that thing is still true. And my purpose is being who God called me to be. And like I said, it's never been about anyone else. It's never been about anyone else. It's just been about the journey of embracing everything and trying to grow and be the best that I can be, you know. I think as a team, we want to look back and say we made everything worth it. And that's just the commitment, the time, the effort, everything that we did. But I wouldn't be here without that journey. And that's something that I embraced along the way. And I think it's just something to continue to build on. But the work continues, you know, and the fire was ignited. And that, you know, sure, people add fuel to it, but ultimately that's something that burns internally and within. And just very thankful for the highs and the lows, because I know God is greater and has his hands on me through the highs and the lows. And just take it a moment at a time and try and be there in the moment, you know, and just roll with it.
Why does everybody ask that question? I mean, what does a kid have to do to?
How many times does he have to answer it?
Yeah, how many times?
But I mean, that's by far his best answer.
Well, I mean, he gives a good answer every time.
That is the MVP press conference.
Yeah, but they always ask him. Everybody always doubted him. Then there'll be people still doubt him.
Yeah.
I mean, even people
can we relive the Tua, Jalen, Mac quarterback? Where are you going to rank him heading into the NFL? I mean, pretty crazy to think about. One of those three has already played in 2 Super Bowls and has an MVP and just getting started.
Yes. And he gets better every year.
Now listen, now as a football fan, I worry about Tua because of his health.
Yes.
But when Tua was completely healthy, even last year, I'll say, with the Dolphins, not in 24 and 20. Yeah, his numbers were just off the chart.
Listen, Tua is an unbelievable player. He's had trouble staying healthy, and when you see a guy get knocked out like he's been knocked out,
But then it takes me back to the preseason this past year when they paid him all that money.
Yeah, I mean, but the reason the Dolphins aren't winning is because of Tua.
Oh no! I'm not trying to paint it that it's all on Tua.
No, it's not.
No.
But he was injured a bunch this year, and they didn't win. They can't win without him. That's for sure. They've proven that. So but you look at Mac. I think.
Yeah. What is he still in Jacksonville?
He came in and played very well in some games. I think he still has a career in front of him. I think he can play. I mean, what Belichick did was maybe this. You'd have to. I wouldn't say the stupidest thing ever, but making a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator. I mean, it cost him his job too.
I still don't understand that.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody does, and it destroyed that whole team. Sometimes I guess we don't know what all went into that decision. Maybe there's
somebody lost a bet. Maybe I don't know.
But when you can look at it as far and step back and anybody could tell you that wasn't going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it didn't.
I know from a college standpoint, there's no doubt that pulling Jalen when they did and bringing in Tua was the right call.
Well, yeah, no question. Well, they won. And let me tell you this, and I said it then, the best thing that ever happened to Jalen Hurts was Tua Tagovailoa. Even though it cost him his job at Alabama, he got better that year, came in, and they won the SEC title because of him, Jalen. And he was a better player from learning and sitting on the bench. And then I think he got even better when he went to Oklahoma to see a different offense in a way something else is different, taking the good he learned from Alabama.
Coach Saban said as much, that he helped him get that landing spot with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I mean, that was it's his journey. That's what he talks about, is his journey.
Yeah.
But he's always been a great player. The guy was the SEC Player of the Year his freshman year at Alabama.
Yeah.
And people said he should play running back, and I'm like, so the whole thing was about getting better. And I've always said the guys that work the hardest, and you have to have some fortune as well, which Tua has not had because of his injuries.
Yep.
The guys that work the hardest stay the longest.
A little bit more from the MVP.
I process a little. I've always processed it in a very unique way. You know, because this whole entire journey of mine has been truly unprecedented. You know, just enduring some of the things and experiencing some of the bumps and joys and everything that I've endured. It's been unprecedented. And so, you know, along the journey, I think even as a child growing up, I didn't dream of playing on the big stage. I didn't dream of, I just loved college football. I loved everything about college football. I loved the game, NCAA. And I just gravitated towards that. But I didn't dream of these moments. It was more so the work and the determination just to be the best that I can be. And there's a point where I realized I could put a limit on myself, you know, if I had the right mentality and the right approach and the right effort. And so when you host those trophies, it's more so about the journey and less about the results. Obviously, we're going to be judged for results, but that's for everyone else to talk about. But the journey is what builds us and makes us who we are. And when you play a team sport like we play, you know, so many things are built. So many lives are changed all from the energy and efforts that are put into it. And so to be able to bring a championship back to Philadelphia,
it's really impressive to hear Jalen talk.
Well, you know, the way he handled that national championship game after he was benched, and the sheer joy he had in winning the national championship.
Yeah, he was the first one running out onto the field.
Yeah, I mean, that says it all right there.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he stayed. Knowing he was going to be the backup, and all the pride he had to swallow, I imagine.
Yeah.
And sit there and get better. And he was markedly better in the things he had to be. But watching the kid that we watched in Tuscaloosa do the things he did in Tuscaloosa at the NFL level, Sunday was, I mean, it's full circle. And there wasn't an Alabama person that I know that wasn't pulling for Jalen Hurts.
And he did it.
Has been.
And he did it in Philadelphia.
And he did it, but even when he was at Oklahoma.
Because Philly is really known for their compassion and understanding. And
have you seen the video of the guy that dresses up like the bird and the little guy and the guy that's anyway, Big C's best friend on this little thing? It's on YouTube. It's hilarious. I mean, these guys I started watching it. They do a video after every win, you know, and the neighbors come over, and it's just a silly video. And the fact that the last time I watched a video was the video of the guy when the Eagles won the last one, when he said that he wanted to be the pallbearers to be Eagle players.
Yeah, let them down one more time.
And then they won it that year.
Yeah, that's
after
right.
he died.
2018. Yeah.
And then now I've been watching this video, and then they win again. It's just, I mean, Philadelphia had some great teams back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And didn't win it. And that, I mean, you think about the
Norm Van Brocklin.
Yeah,
I mean,
but even then, you go back to the current Kansas City coach, right? He had a great teams at Philadelphia, never could win it. In fact, one of the worst Super Bowls ever when he was the coach.
Yeah,
and they kind of played like they did this week.
Well, a little bit. Yeah, mismanaged that time. Yeah, that kind of stands out in a big way. But it's fun to, you know what?
Well, all the SEC players on this team and all the connections they have.
Yeah.
With Huntsville. I mean, they have a backup that's played at Huntsville High. They have a starter that played at East Limestone. West Limestone.
They'll get you on.
Yeah,
they'll get you over there if you mess up.
He's from Athens area. That's kind of covers the circle.
West Limestone.
Yeah. Anyway, and and then you look at all the Georgia players, all the Alabama players. It's just. It was fun to root for a team and watch them. I've watched some tapes.
Mm-hmm.
They got after Kansas. The Philadelphia defense got after Kansas City's ass. I mean, they were hitting some of those guys in the backfield, like the defensive linemen coming with the contain, and they were containing like they teach you, and they weren't. It wasn't anything soft about it. They were getting after it, and some of the size of the. I mean, I've met. The guard. Oh, that played at Alabama.
You talking about Landon
Dickerson? He's huge.
Yeah.
And he looks like a midget next to 68.
Jalen Carter?
Yeah. The average offensive line is 6'6", 320. It's the biggest offensive line in the history of the NFL of the Super Bowl. 6'6" is the average. 68 has to be 6'8" or 6'9". And there's a video of him quoting Bane during the game. It's pretty awesome.
I can't imagine being on the sidelines for a Super Bowl when you're just blowing out the opponent. Wait, because I mean, this generation right now has no idea. For a long while, we had nothing but blowout Super Bowls.
Oh yeah, forever. Yeah,
it would be once in a blue moon where you'd get an okay game, an okay Super Bowl. But I can remember so many. The 49ers and the Broncos, it was in New Orleans. That thing was 55, I think, to 10. And that thing was done. I think that was George Seiferd's first year.
In the first quarter.
Yeah, that thing was done. But we've been treated to quite a bit.
That was an enjoyable Super Bowl, though, even though it was a blowout.
Well, maybe not for Chiefs fans.
Yeah,
but.
well, yeah. They could
they've had their time. Well, but I mean, who's to say that they're not going to figure out a way to get better, because they certainly have the cheat code there at quarterback. Where I mean, how bad would Kansas City have been without Patrick Mahomes this year?
Well, yeah, without him, but he's going to be there forever. I mean, he has a huge long-term contract. But everybody played bad in that game, including Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
he lost confidence in his offensive line.
But you could tell he was scrambling for his life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the interception, the two interceptions changed the way he played.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. He'd been better off just throwing two more.
Even as I try to be as, down the middle, and a lot of my fanhood is gone. Just for every year, I'm following this, trying to follow the right stories, especially around college football and how things are different in a big way just over the last 3 years, let alone the last 30 years. But it is really fun to follow a story like Jalen Hurts, where he sticks around. And I know I mentioned it last hour, but I reached out to Chris Lowe, and there's got to be someone to just take a deep dive into that year of how Nick Saban, one, got Jalen to stick around, and two, certainly he did get better and paid off in a big way in the SEC championship game.
I think that was the whole thing. I think that's what Coach Saban sold him.
Yeah.
that, hey, well,
this is your chance to
improve. Yeah.
But it also it helps a good bit in your own back pocket,
right?
To have someone as talented as Jalen.
You got to remember that team was 14-0 when they went and got beat by Clemson. Played an awful ball game.
Was that the 44 to?
Yeah, that was Jalen's last year.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That was Jalen's last year. He didn't get play in the last game, and I thought they should put him in. Not just because to get him to play, but because I thought it might help the team at that point. Because obviously. Tua struggled, but the offense, I mean, we couldn't get 31.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the game where we averaged 8
Yeah.
yards on first down and couldn't get a first down. It was
That's right.
crazy.
That's right.
Crazy game. And had the ball inside the 2 couldn't score on 4 downs. I mean, we just couldn't get a short yardage because to be honest with you, the offensive line was poorly coached, in my opinion. Short yardage, kind of like Texas is now. I mean, yeah.
Your boys there in Philadelphia, Stoutland.
Yeah, well, he's been there. He was there then. If Stoutland was at in Tuscaloosa during that time, they'd been 15-0. Alabama had the better team.
Coaching doesn't matter.
Coaching matters a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
And I mean, it's great to have the talent, because I always think about coaches saying, well, I'm a good coach because I've got good players. Well, that part is true.
Well, everybody has good players,
but,
for the most part, yeah.
But strategy and kind of getting in the head of a coach.
Well, it's just not strategy too. It's a
buy-in.
It's
the whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just not one thing. It's everything. And that's what made Coach Saban such a good coach, is he cared about the little thing. That's what made Coach Brian a good coach. Same thing. The same things we've always won.
That's why I'm just holding out. The same things when it always won, only excuses change.
Yeah, but the game's changed the last 2 years. There's
no doubt about
the
that.
way you get players and everything, and you got to hand it to Ohio State. They recognized it.
Yeah,
and they got them a good
and
team.
they got humbled, but then they turned around.
But now they've
and
lost all their coaches because of the same thing.
Yeah,
there's no way that Ohio State can be the same as they were. All their coaches are gone again, right?
Yeah. They're paying Ryan Day the 12 whatever million.
Yeah, well, and they were going to fire him the week before. So I don't know. It is. What's interesting to me is there's no doubt in my mind that Florida coach kept his job, and some other guys have kept their job because they can't afford to fire him, because if they pay him, that would be money coming to NIL. So all these coaches that that are doing an okay job,
would you say Sam Pittman? Sam Pittman,
100%.
Billy Napier,
Billy Napier, even the guy at Auburn, Hugh Freeze. There's no talk to getting rid of him at all. He's recruiting well, and because they couldn't afford to, because they got to, they're trying to build a team, but you got to do it in the portal. You can't do it with high school recruits anymore. It has to be both.
If Auburn loses the first 2 games this year,
but Ohio State, you look at what Ohio State did. Great recruiting, great portal. Ole Miss moved up. Great recruiting, great portal.
Auburn's first 2 game this year at Baylor and host Ball State, host South Alabama, and that's when they roll into SEC play.
Yeah.
But that at Baylor game, I mean,
yeah, I would think they'd beat Baylor. I think Auburn's going to be better. I just don't think they're.
It's year 6 for Dave Aranda, by the way.
Yeah.
At Baylor,
he did good.
They were 8-5 last year.
Yeah,
6-3 in the Big 12.
They need to improve.
That's a tough game. That's a tough game for Auburn right out of the gate. I don't know what Baylor brings back, but I'll dive into that.
I think Auburn's going to be better. I think Auburn will be a 9-win team this year.
I'm really going to dive deeper into these teams once the portal shuts down in April. We'll certainly follow spring drills, and I know both Auburn and Alabama, I think, have the same A-Day in mid-April. I think it's the 12th or something. But so spring practice is around the corner, but we are going to talk some basketball for a large part of this week. In fact, Dane Bradshaw is scheduled to be on with us coming up tomorrow here on the program. We'll talk some SEC hoops with the former Tennessee Vols standout. Right now, his Vols trailing it to the Kentucky Wildcats 27-24. Kentucky with a lead there with just over 3 minutes left to go. And also right now scheduled on Thursday, Clark Kellogg from CBS Sports is going to join us as he wants to dive into number one versus number one. And I'm sure Drew DeArmond will join us at some point as well here during the week, as we always look forward to our chats with Drew DeArmond. Let's take our final time out, final call for phone calls. We'll give you the latest scores, including Auburn and Vandy up in Music City going on right now.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Rain's going to stick with us as we head into the overnight and into Wednesday morning. Allow yourself a couple of extra minutes as you head out the door for work on Wednesday morning. We drop into the mid and upper 40s. Temperature is going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. We're also going to hold on to the rain across the Tennessee Valley. We climb into the upper 50s and lower 60s, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. Rain's going to begin to slow down a little bit as we head into Thursday afternoon. A mostly cloudy sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Time was drifting, this rocket got to roll. So I hit the road and made my getaway. Restless feeling.
Final call for phone calls here on a Tuesday. Certainly stay alert out there with standing water. There's more coming.
Yeah, they've just entered. Wow, I'm doing a great job today.
How about that?
They just issued a flash flood warning for our area just because we've had so much water and this much rain coming on the way.
And more's coming. Halftime up in Memorial Gymnasium. It's a 2-point game. The Auburn Tigers lead it at Vanderbilt 34-32. That is at halftime. Late first half down at the hump, also a 2-point game. Mississippi State leads it over Florida 32-30. And right before halftime inside Rupp, looky here. The Wildcats now enjoying a 9-point lead with the ball.
So what was the score of the Florida game?
32. Now it's 32 all. 32 all.
Okay.
And 54 seconds to go there. Later on tonight, it says 8 o'clock tip. I don't believe the hype. Alabama at Texas, they're probably going to have to push that tip. And that means a longer pregame there for Chris Stewart and the like to get you ready for Alabama and Texas.
Well, they've got plenty to talk about.
Yeah. There'll be quite a bit to dive into. And then our man on the scene just landed because I got a text from him. Richard Hendricks is going to try to join us Thursday. He is in Arkansas. LSU Arkansas is tomorrow night at Bud Walton Arena. The schedule for tomorrow also includes Ole Miss at South Carolina, Oklahoma at Missouri. So this is by far the featured weekday of SEC hoops here tonight, especially with 2 top 25 matchups. And right now, one of them is tied almost at halftime with Mississippi State and Florida. And the other one almost at halftime has Kentucky leading it by 9 with the ball with 24 seconds to go before halftime. Shot clock turned off, so I would assume that Mark Pope is going to hold for the final shot and take at least a 9-point lead into halftime. And Kentucky's been kind of an up and down team, and when they've turned it over more, I mean, it feels like you can say generic stuff about all different kinds of sports, but when you turn it over more, you're putting yourself in a tough spot to win. But Kentucky misses their final shot before halftime, and it is indeed a 9-point lead for the Wildcats heading into the house. But Tennessee is 0 for 5 from beyond the arc, and Kentucky has made 7 threes. See, when I see stuff like that, that's a really good stat to show right there. And it tells me that Tennessee's not shooting all that well, and they're only down 9. They're only down. It's a 3-possession game. I'd give an edge to the Vols. I really would. But we'll find out, and I'm sure Jeff is probably paying close attention.
Well, I think they're up by 9. I'd give the Kentucky the edge with the 9-point lead.
Yeah, you want to how about tip at Baumhauer's tomorrow? How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go Vols. You're going to go Kentucky, as Tennessee only scores 26 points in the first half, too. is your last chance to back out of here and hop on the Vols train?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Bama and Texas tonight. You'll be able to hear that right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Also, some more college basketball as over on Talk Radio WZZN coming up tonight. The two-time defending champs, the UConn Huskies, are at Creighton for a Big East matchup there. And the Big East, by the way, being led by St. John's. So that is something to keep an eye on there moving forward for those of you that casually pay attention to college basketball.
It's almost basketball season.
Oh, it's basketball season. It is definitely basketball season. And Tom Abraham, also, he has a remote tomorrow. And the way Tom sounded today, he said he sounded great. But to me,
he sounded better than he did yesterday.
Oh,
yeah.
He'll be at Blue Oak Barbecue. He has invited me to come out tomorrow.
Run the board.
And I yeah, probably. And I said, is that with a hazmat suit or without a hazmat suit? I don't want to get that head cold. It is February.
You could knock out the whole station.
There's no doubt about that.
I'll be working from home.
Well, we're going to put him in here, and he can talk in the mics, and we'll be out there.
Don't even put it anywhere near me.
The Crimson Tide Sports Network is next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Roll Tide.